Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the cardio vlogs after a very long delay. It is March 1st, 2015, and this is the beginning of season 2. Gonna do a little bit of increase. I normally let these go for about 15 minutes. It might be a little shorter, a little longer this time. I don't have a timer with me right now. So I am in a new location for season 2, a vastly different location. And a lot of things have changed since we last spoke 18 months ago. Over the next week, I will probably catch you up on that. Apparently there's a basketball game going on in the monitor directly above my right shoulder. Anyways, so a lot has happened in the last 18 months. Let's catch up a little. When last we left, I was working on getting a new assignment, which I ultimately did. Working at two much larger prisons, or one much larger and one similar to the size I was working as a vendor. And it's was an up and down deal for a while, working both prisons. I lost one of my team members who moved on to some other things. And really, the last 18 months I focused on that and discovered that I want different things in the long term for my future. So I am officially relaunching this, along with some other programming which will be coming. I won't give announcement dates for it yet because I don't want to mislead anyone about when I will start them. But I have some programs in mind regarding politics and regarding Netflix. Remember, one of my bad habits from a long time ago was I hated saying all the time. I still hate saying it. So my goal is to get started a program in the not so distant future called Netflix 365, where I take a look at movies in a variety of genres. I already set the setting too high. This is my first time on an elliptical in quite some time. So my goal is to do that and not really specifically focus on one genre, but sort of dance around the genres. I was originally expecting to do one, that was the A's in action and adventure, and then a B in the next category. But what I've discovered on Netflix is that it sort of starts with the new releases or popular films in that category. And so I will probably be reviewing, for example, the first thing that came up in action and adventure was The Interview. And that's not so far off of its original release, which was late last year. Everybody knows the controversy in 2014 regarding it because of all of our issues with ISIS and Islamic terrorism, seemingly. So I may watch that. Everybody knows that was about the Sony hack and how they were seemingly discouraged from releasing it, and they did release it, but it was a very limited run, and then it went directly to video demand services like Netflix or Amazon Prime and Amazon in general. So I may start with that movie since it was the first one that came up in action and adventure. I'm making no promises, but I do want to start doing more programming related to politics, entertainment. I'm thinking my vlogging back up outside of this, which is, of course, the cardio vlogs. So let's talk about my health in the last year, 16, 18 months, because that's another big reason why I'm doing this again. So, as a result of working out with you, I lost a tremendous amount of weight. I did really well. I got back into 38s, 36s in the jeans. And over the course of the 18 months, which we'll go into more tomorrow and the day after tomorrow and yada yada, I gained most of that weight back. During moves, I've moved 3 times or 2 times since last we chatted. And so my weight has gone back up. I have also further evolved a condition which I think I've had clearly for a long time, which has shown itself to be sleep apnea. And that's become amazingly more prevalent because I don't rest completely. Well, let's just start with what is sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is, to the best of what I understand, a condition by which the muscles in the back of your throat don't function properly. Let me do more research before I jam my foot in my mouth as far as logic of sleep apnea, but the symptoms of sleep apnea are feeling very sleepy during the day, stopping breathing while you're sleeping at night, struggling to breathe, listlessness, and something that has developed within me very recently is I have developed bouts with narcolepsy. It's mild narcolepsy to some degree, but it's still narcolepsy. Everybody knows narcolepsy is just when you fall asleep out of nowhere, and that's pretty much what happens. I yawn fairly consistently throughout the day. Part of it's stimulation, and part of it's just when I'm immobile, because my body doesn't have a lot of energy left in it anymore, I tend to just like that. It's become increasingly worse. With weight gain, it's become even worse, intolerable to my partners that I've had since this has evolved. And I really hate that for a lot of reasons. It's not who I am, it's not who I want to be. So in the process of taking care of other matters I have to in order to get healthier physically and mentally, I am pursuing ways of controlling greatly or eliminating the sleep apnea issue. I have a friend named Tara Long, props to Tara, and Wide Awakening Studios in Honolulu, Hawaii, a great friend of mine, who has recommended, along with another friend of mine, Janet Braun, very dear lady, I have known recently, come to know recently, who's quite charming, have suggested, number one, that I cut out 100% of dairy because it creates excess mucus, which, back in the days when I was doing theater, they did not recommend you drinking milk or anything like that too soon before you went on stage. And now I realize part of the reason is because of the buildup of mucus. It makes your words slur more. It makes it harder to articulate. So those are very good reasons to maybe not 100% eliminate dairy, but to vastly decrease the use thereof. So I will be cutting out a lot of my dairy, which is very good. Soda has a huge impact on it too. The air bubbles within soda, the weight that soda puts on you, causes you to retain water. So, and it takes up to 7 years, they say, for soda to clear your system, just like gum and other certain items. So you want to be very careful about it. But with regards to sleep apnea, there are 4 options that have been made clear to me. One is medicines that you can take, because essentially you have to rebuild a muscle in the back of your throat in order to prevent it, because it's essentially relaxed and it's not working. And as a result of it, you just have these ungodly noises that you make. It blocks your breathing, the whole thing. We'll talk more about sleep apnea over time. But essentially, the first option is medicine, by a doctor, obviously. The second is something called a CPAP machine, CPAP. And essentially, you wear this while you're sleeping at night. They say it's very, very uncomfortable for the first week or 2 or whatever. And then it basically clears your passages. It makes it easier for you to breathe at night. That's not really something I really would like to do. I have tried it. A lady I knew gave me a CPAP machine to try out, and it was very, very uncomfortable. I actually felt like I was suffocating at points while I was using it. So I would prefer not to do that. Third choice, the most expensive choice by far, is a surgery. But in speaking with Janet, she shared with me that someone she knows has had the surgery to eliminate sleep apnea twice. They weigh 325 pounds, which weighs more than I do. But it has not gone for good, obviously, because they've done the surgery twice, because they have continued to maintain a weight and a diet that does not work for them and perpetuates the condition. So surgery is an option, but there's a lot of other factors that will ultimately show whether that will be successful in the long-term sense or not, or whether you would have to repeat the process, which if you go and have a surgery, you're hoping it's an all complete, resolution to the issue. So I will not be doing that. The fourth choice, which is what I am pursuing now, is number 1, the removal of a 98% to 100% of dairy from my diet, and finding other ways of replacing it, whether it be calcium vitamins or juice or whatever, but eliminating dairy. Tara shared with me that she knew someone who had sleep apnea, that they eliminated dairy and it resolved the issue entirely for them. Now, of course, results will vary, but we shall see if this helps with that. The other aspect of this is exercises you could do to strengthen that muscle in the back of your throat again, to improve it. One of them is I saw 2 exercises. One was a tongue exercise where you essentially stick your tongue out, and I'll show you in a second, and you try and get it as far down towards your chin as possible while you look up. So it's like this. And that's supposed to help strengthen that muscle in the back of your throat. The other one, what was the other one? Oh gosh, cannot remember what it was right now. My brain's escaping me. Well, I will go over the exercises with you. There's a program I found and asked Tara to give me her opinion on whether it was worthwhile, and she has recommended that I go for it because it seems reasonable as well as beneficial. So I will try that, and then getting back into exercise.